Welcome to another episode of I'm Dying to Tell You. This is Dr. Mark Goulston. I wanted to speak to you today about how do you earn back trust after you've betrayed someone, after you've hurt someone. And there's a formula that I've developed that I believe is airtight, and I would welcome you giving input if we can refine it even further. It's called the 4 H's and the 4 R's. So when you've done something to betray someone or destroy their trust in you, you triggered in them what I refer to as the 4 H's. They feel hurt that you took away that trust. They hate you for doing that because you took away something that kind of broke a part of them. They're hesitant to trust you again, and they're going to hold on to a grudge. They're going to have trouble letting go of that. Hurt, hate, hesitant to trust you, hold on to a grudge. And what those 4 H's need are the 4 R's. So hurt needs remorse. And remorse is not the same as regret. Regret sounds like, okay, I did it. I'm not going to do it again. Can we just move on? It's not very satisfying. In fact, it can be very insulting. What remorse is that you look into the eyes of the person that you hurt and you tell them, look at me. And they may be hesitant to do that. And you say, look at me. And you look into their eyes and you say, when I did what I did, I broke something in you. I broke something in you that you could always rely on and depend on, and now you can't. And that was wrong. I'm going to fix this. So they need to see and feel remorse from you, that you feel pain and even shame at having done that. The second H is they hate you. You rip something away from them, so it needs the second R, which is restitution. They need a payback. And the payback needs to be something that hurts you, that takes something away from you. And maybe the payback is you give them a bunch of money when you don't want to give them a bunch of money. Or if it's an emotional payback, emotional restitution, you let them and you invite them to lay into you and vent into you what that was like when you lied to them or you betrayed them or you broke their trust. And you let them vent until they can't vent anymore. And that's going to repeat itself many times. You're not inviting them to physically hurt you, but restitution is you allow them to do that. The third H is they're hesitant to trust you, and what they need is the third R, which is rehabilitation. They need to see that you have another way of dealing with issues between the two of you besides resorting to that old behavior. They need to see that you have rehabilitated yourself to bring up things that are upsetting to you instead of acting out on them in a way that further damages trust. And they also need to see that you actually like the new way of dealing things, as opposed to saying you've rehabilitated yourself and then you just tell them, can you get off my back already? Which doesn't show that you really like the new way of dealing with things. The final H is they're holding on to a grudge. They can't forgive you and they can't forget it. And what that requires is the fourth R. And the fourth R, you've earned the right to deliver after 6 months of practicing and internalizing the first 3 R's: remorse, restitution, and rehabilitation. And after you've done that, you can't change the past. You can't change that you did this to them. But you have earned the right to request forgiveness. And you say that I don't expect you to ever forget that I did this to you. But I'd like to request that you forgive me. Because if I'm up against an unforgiving attitude, I don't know how we can really move forward, but you have to earn the right to that. And by the way, if they can't do that, when I used to see couples who were navigating earning back trust, I would often say to the person who said that he or she didn't think that they could forgive the other person, I would often say, you have an unforgiving a problem. Who did you learn that from? And frequently they go, oh my God, I've turned into my mother. I've turned into my father. And I would ask them, what was it like to be on the receiving end of that unforgiving mother, that unforgiving father, or watching that unforgiving attitude take place between the two of them? And hopefully, if you're someone who was on the receiving end of someone being unforgiving and it really hurt you, you're not going to want to do that to another person. And you might find the ability and courage to let go of it because the other person has done all that they can do by demonstrating remorse, restitution, and rehabilitation. So I'd invite you to see if you can improve upon that. As I mentioned, this has stood the test of time. And it's also something that you might want to bring up to someone in which you would like to trust them again and tell them what you need from them that you're not getting. And often the real stumbling block is the remorse and the restitution. So I hope that's helpful to you. And give it a try and let us know how you're doing. And thanks again for tuning into these. Take care.